Hello, everyone. This is Coach M. Cotton with Renew, Repurpose, Restore Personal Development Coaching, LLC. And I have been getting this question a lot as it relates to mindfulness. And I wanted to do a quick live just to share and get some feedback from those of you who are inquiring about how do you practice mindfulness when you're frustrated? That's a question I get all the time. And it takes practice. So let me not say this as if I'm perfect and I can manage and I have it all together, because I don't. However, because I've been practicing mindfulness for such a long time, I have learned that when I'm frustrated, how to use the DBT skill set or how to practice mindfulness. Again, if we know what DBT is, or mindfulness practice, it simply means you're managing your emotions, you learn how to cope with stress, and improve your interpersonal relationships. Those are the three keys to practicing mindfulness. Along with mindfulness comes other grounding techniques, other skill sets that you can build to grow in mindfulness practice. Now, with frustration can look different for many people. Like, seriously, it can look like someone gets quiet for one person, or it can look like someone is screaming, yelling, going ham for another person. It can look like someone crying and getting very emotional. It also can look like someone just being very moody or distant, or, all these things. Frustration looks different for different people. Frustration can also come in different ways, meaning what made you frustrated, who made you frustrated, what was the situation or the circumstance, did something go awry at work, at school, with your family, your husband, your wife, your children, a friend. So things come to frustrate us. Big thing, traffic in Atlanta can come to frustrate us. So things like that could be a huge challenge when we're talking about frustration. So what I would like to do, and I'm going to keep this live very brief, is answer that question. So again, how do you manage frustration? Or how do you use mindfulness practice to help manage frustration? So let's talk about a couple of examples. So let's say you're engaging with a romantic partner, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, and they do something that frustrates you. This happens every day, right? We love them. We love our partners and significant others, but there will be things that they do that will just upset you. And you're like, why? I don't even understand it, right? And that's key number one. Most times when we're frustrated, mindfulness practice gives us an opportunity to reflect, to ask some curious questions. If you don't understand what the person is saying or their perspective, where they're coming from, you want to ask those questions, because that's where the frustration comes from. It's a misunderstanding. It could be a miscommunication. There's some information that's missing, right? So for example, your partner comes to you and say, hey, why did you cook? What's taking you so long to cook? Well, instantly, you're frustrated, right? Like, first of all, most people is like, why are you asking me that? I'm in the process of doing something, or I'm about to cook, or put your cape on, be a hero. You can cook, right? You can do this, like, you're capable. But what I would like to learn for mindfulness practice is, instead of allowing the frustration, because what we want to do is manage our emotions. That's step one with mindfulness practice and DBT. We have to check the emotions. We have to use the rational brain. We have to use our emotion mind, and we have to also bring it together and integrate it or intermingle it to get to your wise mind. So if that situation is going on, again, this is just an example, you want to ask some questions, right? As you are starting to feel, because that's the emotion, the frustration, you can pause and ask, some curious questions, or you can provide information. So if your significant other comes up like, what's taking them so long? Why you haven't cooked? We hungry or whatever. and let's say you're in the midst of doing something, you can just simply respond before the agitation, the frustration, or the annoyance from the question sets in. You can say, oh, I just finished coming out the bathroom and I had a long day. So I wanted to take a moment before I jump into the next responsibility as a partner, as a mom, as a, significant other, all these things, a moment to myself. But dinner will be ready shortly. You can also provide a time. Just giving people information eases and removes confusion, right? Let's talk about maybe traffic. I live in Atlanta. Traffic is all day, every day. We have gone from, we used to have peak traffic times to off-peak traffic times. Now we just have traffic all day. It used to be commuter traffic, people going to work or coming home from work, and now it does not matter. We used to have traffic where we thought it was just construction and road work, DOTs on the highways and the byways. Now it's just traffic. So here in Atlanta, Lord God forbid if it rains, we are stuck in traffic. It's going to be a traffic issue, and the traffic in Atlanta brings on road rage. It brings on major frustration. It brings on all these emotions, and people can't even think. So how would you handle, or how can you use mindfulness practice when you're in traffic? And you may not know a reason why. There may not be a reason why, like Atlanta is all day, all the time traffic, right? So what you would do, let's say you're moving, you're flowing, and then you begin to see the brake lights and everyone is starting to slow down. You can't see what's ahead. You're trying to get home from work because you have to cook, you have to take care of your children and your partner or your significant other, and you have all these things on your mind. You're still trying to use the car as a mental decompression from the workday, and now you're sitting in traffic that's going nowhere. What do you do, Coach M. Cotton? So with that, use the car. Again, the car is a place to really practice mindfulness, right? Most people, if you're not like picking up your kids from daycare or school or something like that and heading to maybe another activity, if you are alone, and even if you're not alone, because mindfulness practice is about centering and grounding yourself, it could be pandemonium all around you. The good news is with mindfulness practice is that you can create your peace no matter what's going on. It could be a catastrophic monstrosity. It could be a hurricane, tornado, earthquake, going on all around you. All these things are swirling, and you can still center yourself and create peace. So in the car, right? Let's take this scenario of traffic in the car, long day at work, trying to compartmentalize to get home, to jump into your next role and responsibilities for your family, maybe. So you use the car. While you're in the car, driving, there's things you can do to release tension, right? There's things that you can do to relieve stress and energies and frustration. You can grip your steering wheel really tightly, right? Very tightly. And then release. Not like let your hand off the wheel, but grip it tight, release. What it's doing now is sending messages to the brain to relax. You're releasing some of that negative energy, some of that frustration, annoyance, agitation, things that happen at work, things that happen, prior to you getting to the car, and this traffic is now building up. You're releasing this energy. You're releasing this tension and this frustration. It has to escape, okay? Mindfulness practice teaches us to manage emotions, to cope with stress, and to improve interpersonal relationships. You have to have an outlet, right? It has to go somewhere. And if you don't have somewhere specific or intentional for it to go, it will go to anybody. That's why most people get into disagreements, and most people are frustrated, and now we're yelling and we're screaming and we're cursing someone out and we're going ham and we're crying and with all these emotions because our energy, our feelings have nowhere to go. So you have to be intentional about where does it go? right? You don't want it to just go to someone else. You want to release it, right, to something that can take it. A steering wheel on a car, you grip it, release. Hold it tightly and maybe do 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, right? You can also, as you're holding and gripping that steering wheel tightly, you can start inhaling, exhaling. Deep breathing is one of the main supports to gaining and managing your emotions in mindfulness practice. I practice deep breathing all the time. It helps me to center myself. It helps me to focus. It helps me to bring myself back into a healthy mental state, right? And it does take practice, because sometimes you feel like you can't get control of it, especially when things are moving so fast and one situation can go from 0 to 100, right? You still have opportunity, even in a very small window, to manage your emotions. So gripping the steering wheel is one way. Deep breathing as you do this. Hold the steering wheel for 5-10 seconds, very tightly, release. You also, like, maybe not with your driving foot, because it's stop and go traffic again. You know, you want to still be focused on what's going on around you, your environment. And you can use your other foot, maybe tapping down on the floor of the car, or maybe circling your free foot in circles, just like moving it around. That's another way. And as you do that, deep breathing, because you don't have to close your eyes for this. You can still focus on the road ahead and concentrate and be very locked in. But what it's doing is sending messages to the brain to relax, right? You're releasing that energy. You're finding an outlet for that energy to go to, right? You can, wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes inside your shoe, your free shoe. Well, actually, you can do it with your driving foot as well. So that's one way. I always like to share that when we are using mindfulness practice to manage any emotion, whether that's frustration, whether that's disappointment, depression, sadness, whatever that emotion is you're feeling, it could even be something that's positive. It can be excitement over a new opportunity. It could be excitement over a new relationship. However you choose to use mindfulness practice and ground yourself and recenter, always think about being quiet. Always thinking about settling yourself. And what I mean by that is, wherever you are, you can find a space to just quiet the mind, quiet yourself, so you can recalibrate, right? This is part of the mindfulness practice. If you are in a very heated disagreement, these are the times where I see it's most challenging for people to really start to manage those emotions, when they're in the thick of a disagreement or a debate or a heated argument, and they're trying to not explode. This is when mindfulness practice should start to show up for you. What do you mean by that, Coach M. Cotton? I mean that there should be times where you have practiced it so much all day, all throughout the day, that when you notice and can identify that I am almost at exploding stage, I am so angry, this is it, I'm about to cuss you out, them out, everybody. I'm about to damage relationships because I'm just there. Mindfulness should show up because you've already practiced it. I like to say being preventative, right? Preventative maintenance, preventative care, being even premeditative. We hear that term in a lot of legal derogatory contexts. However, being premeditative is not a negative thing. We're not talking about the extreme. You want to have a premeditated illegal issue, something like that. No, not in that way. We're talking about premeditative, because now it should show up. Mindfulness should show up before you, and you always want to be ahead of it, right? So if you and your sister, something's said and it's taken offensively, or it puts someone on the defense, You want to jump ahead of those things, right? That's what mindfulness will do. You want to be conscious of your triggers. You want to be conscious of what is the word, what is the thing, what is the body language, what is the facial expression that could potentially take you to the place of exploding, where you feel like now I don't have control over my emotions, right? I don't have control over this feeling that I'm feeling, but I want to gain control. What you can always do when you know, because you know, everybody knows when we're almost there, like instantly I'm about to go there, right? So when you're building up or you feel that build up, what you can do, you can stop. Put a hard stop on things. That's a mindfulness practice, and I will coach more about what stop is, an acronym. But you can put a hard stop on talking. You don't have to say another word, because the more you engage in a heated argument or debate or disagreement, it's charging you. Again, we talk about energy and energy work and releasing it, having the outlet. When those emotions are just going haywire, you're charged. You're emotionally charged. So you have to stop it. You have to disconnect. You have to unplug the charge. You have to go cold turkey, stop it. Do a hard stop on, whatever's taking place, whether it's disagreement, a debate, an argument, or those frustrations, and you see yourself escalating more. Unplug it. Unplugging also looks like walking away. There's nothing wrong with saying or not saying and just walking away, but if you can, just say, I'm stopping and I'm leaving. If you are too heated to say those words, that is fine. You just dismiss yourself. Come back to it later in the cool of the day. My mom always say that, Jesus would come, correct, and talk to people in the cool of the day. Let things settle down. So once things have settled down, then we can hear each other. Again, communication, effective communication. A lot of these frustrations and these negative emotions come from misunderstanding, miscommunication, not enough information, not being clear. People will love clarity. So those are just a few things. Y'all know I'm not really great with like downloading stuff and trying to share, but I will try to share this also on my TikTok, Instagram pages as well. And of course to my YouTube channel. If you want to know more, if you're that person who says, Coach, I see what you're saying and I want to do better. I just want to take a small baby step. You're not going to be perfect. No one's expecting for you to get this all in a day. Rome was not built in a day. It takes time, because what it's doing is helping you discover your true self-identity, which is the root on why I coach on mindfulness practice, because you want to know who you are. You want to know how to manage yourself. You want that self-control. And the Bible speaks about the fruits of the Spirit. And the very last fruit of the Spirit is self-control. We all wonder why it's last. It was on purpose. It was intentional for God to put it last, because it's one of the hardest things for us to do and to manage. I mean, people have tried all different things. But what I will do is also try to download this live and send it over to maybe my TikTok and my Instagram pages. And definitely it will be in my YouTube videos. Please reach out to me. If you're that person, you said, I see me in what you're saying, and I do want to start practicing mindfulness. I want to start learning how to manage my emotions. I want to learn how to cope with stress, and I want to learn how to improve my interpersonal relationships. Relationships are key. They're important. They can make us or break us. They can make or break business. They can build bridges. They can tear bridges down. We want to be very mindful about our relationships, our community, who and what we are connected to. So mindfulness definitely plays a huge role in that. And I would love to be the one to collaborate with you as we walk through this journey together on practicing mindfulness and you discovering your true self-identity. So I do have Renew, Repurpose, Restore Personal Development LLC. It is business. It's with the SBA. It's not like something I woke up one morning and was like, I want to do this. No, it's legitimized. So you can email me directly at renewrepurposerestore@gmail.com. You can also DM me on all of my social media platforms. That could be YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, also TikTok. I have a coaching page on there. And follow me. And I do coaching tips on my social media platforms. You can also see some of my engagements when I'm out speaking. If you want to learn more and you want something one-on-one, or maybe you are a part of a group and you say this information could be good for the group, reach out to me. I also do group coaching. I also do one-on-one coaching, and then I do platform coaching to like larger groups as well. And again, my social media and all those coaching tips are posted on my platforms throughout social media. It's been great talking to you guys through this live. Again, if you need support, let me know. I'm ready. I'm willing, because it is DBT, and mindfulness practice is something that we all need. We all need it. It doesn't have a color on it. It doesn't have a race on it. It does not have ethnicity on it. It does not have a gender on it. It does not have any type of lifestyle or orientation on it. It is for everybody, the young, the middle-aged, and the well-seasoned, man or woman, child. It does not matter. It works. I've been practicing this for a very long time, and I would love to share it with you individually if I need to, you and your groups, and on your networks and your platforms as well. This is Coach M. Cotton. I'll see you guys later.